Good afternoon guys, welcome to a video for Motorhome Retrofit. So on this particular video we're going to show you how you can remove a wing mirror and replace it yourself if you're that way inclined. If you've got the tools to do it, it's not a problem. You can take this off and replace the whole thing. And the reason why we're doing this is this particular Adria 2018 vehicle came to us, and the customer had been hit in France by another driver, had smashed the indicator side repeater here, and then also on the way over to us the glass had popped off because it had already been replaced about a year ago. So this is an aftermarket mirror, and the cost of the Fiat genuine wing mirror is really expensive. It's nearly £400. So you can get one online much cheaper, and we've ordered one in. It's going to be with us tomorrow. So on this particular part of the video, stage one is we're going to take this off and show you how to do it, what tools you need. It should really take no more than about 20 minutes. So I'm going to get Matt to come around this side and I'll show you exactly what's involved. So the first and most important thing is get the tools that you need ready for the job. Head torch always helps, just because up inside the plastic cavity here it's quite difficult to see and unplug the wing mirror, but I've got a plastic trim tool so it doesn't do any damage and scuff, and I've also got a T40. So a T40 is the size of the Torx bit. It doesn't need to be a side ratchet. We just use these all the time and they come in really handy. So this wing mirror has already been off. So there's 4 bolts that you need to undo. 3 of them are T40, one's just a normal panhead screwdriver, so we'll do that as well. So ultimately, the reason why we're doing this is because every Fiat Ducato wing mirror works and fits the same way. Now, it doesn't matter whether you've got an X250, which is 2006 to 12 or 14, or a 2014 onwards, which is the X290. The principle is the same. Be careful when ordering a replacement mirror that you do get the right one. Check your compatibility, because it may not fit. Now, this is what they call a short arm. Now, short arm means that the wing mirror is close to the body. You can get longer ones for if you're towing or you want a little bit of extra angle from the back of the vehicle. This is only a 6 metre, what we call a sliding door conversion, but we also do a lot of wing mirror replacements on the bigger motorhomes, and some of them on a Fiat Ducato base or chassis go up to 9 metres. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use the trim tool, and we're going to remove these 2 bits here. This is the window trim. Without this you can't get access to 2 of the bolts, and then we're going to remove the speaker trim here, because without that you can't actually unplug the wing mirror. So there's no point undoing all those 4 bolts and then you haven't unplugged it, because otherwise it turns into a 2-man job and then it makes it a little bit more tricky. So round the speaker grill here, like so, you can just put the trim tool in from the bottom and you can lever it out. Now, you have to be quite firm with these things because they are clipped in well for a reason. Once you've got the bottom clip in, you can then just use the trim tool and just bring it in like so. You need to be careful because there is a speaker under here, and as you can see there's the clips. They just fit in like so. So not particularly difficult to do. This is the next stage, so this is the window. These are clipped in from the sides. This is clipped in with little pop clips here. If you're careful, there's no reason why these should snap, but on some occasions we find that they just are waiting to snap. So trim tool in from an angle where you can get it. I can't really see any trim line down here, but I can at the top. So I'm going to run the trim tool in the top here and then slide it down to an area that I can then prise out, because the poppers are here and here. So I'm going to put my hand in here, and as I use the trim tool just to bend out, I can flip it against the metal like so. And there we go. Just bring that out. Use your hand and the trim tool all the way around the body, and at this point don't unclip this bit, because this bit clips into the door. So what you're going to do is use the trim tool and you're just going to prise it off. If you do that, you're less likely to break anything. Right, so you can see here now, one thing we had noticed is this here, because of the wing mirror having been replaced before, has long been broken. It's still in situ. You could try and repair it, glue it on, heat weld it on, but to be honest, it doesn't make any difference because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other clips holding it on, and these are the clips here. So we're missing a white popper, That's fine because that's still in the door, so we can just use the trim tool now just to get that out. Trim tool in behind, grab that out, and then before you put this to one side, you can just make sure that it's all ready to go. So we've got clip there, and these are all ready. On some of these, you'll find that these metal clips will come off and not, so they come off the door and they get still attached to here. So I would just get your trim tool or a little screwdriver, prise them off, and make sure you clip them back on the door in the same way that they came off. Just makes the process a lot easier. Now, the next stage, normally using a head torch, Matt won't be able to show you just because it's not dark in here, but up underneath here, you've got an access panel. And this access panel here is where you use a head torch and you can see the main, here it is here, you can see the main electric loom for the electric mirror, for the adjustment of the glass that comes in through the center of the door into that cavity and plugs in up here like so. So you need to then get in there with a little screwdriver and just unclip the little lug. Once you've done that, you can do that, you can then pull that cabling out. So just hold a second while I do that. Right, so with that clip now unplugged, you can just pull the clip down and we can get a close-up of what it looks like. Now, as I said, this is already an aftermarket mirror, so colors of the wires might differ, but the plug shape and size will be exactly the same. And what you have to do with this is you can just pop a little screwdriver in there and just lift the tab up like so. And then you can just slide that out. But if in doubt, just use your trim tool and a screwdriver. Now, once you've done that, you can push that back up inside. This is the door section. And if you can, a bit of wiggling, you can just pull that cable out. Because how it goes in on this side, there's only a small hole, whereas a much bigger one here, and you've got the wing mirror loom here. So if you are working on your own, the next stage then is to start undoing the 4 T40 bolts. So whether you're using a ratchet or a normal screwdriver, what we do is we just loosen all of them off. Now, if this hadn't already been replaced, it wouldn't have a flat, like a coach bolt thing on this one. It would have been fitted properly with one of the T40s, but there's a possibility it's been snapped or cross-headed or something similar, so you wouldn't normally have a flat screwdriver for this particular job. So what I'm going to do, now that I've loosened them all off, I'm just going to put my hand on the back of the door, because it means I've just got the wing mirror safe, and I can carry on using one hand here to remove the rest of the 3 bolts. Now, as I said, you can do this on your own, but to be honest, for the sake of someone nearby to you, like I have Richard, who's just about to come over and just help, it only takes 10 seconds for them just to hold that mirror. Even if it isn't broken or is broken, if it comes off and hits your door, you then got scratch paintwork or even worse. So let's get the last one off, and with Richard holding that, now he's got the weight with this released as well. You should be able to wiggle, but one thing we can't do is we can't do it with the door open. So what I'll do is I'll bring the door closed a little bit like so, just so that I can free the cable, and then as Richard shuts the door, I shut the door, you can just see it. Now, as Richard takes it off, at the top here there's a barbed section. So he has to lift the mirror out, and it's a little bit fiddly, but it's designed so that you can actually do this yourself if you wanted to. So if Richard just shows you the little barbed section there, and then what you do is when you replace the mirror, which we would do, we put it in first and it hooks down. So you could effectively do it on your own, but I wouldn't want to damage a 2018 vehicle for the sake of asking for help. So there you are. What we will do is we'll give this a bit of a clean up. Once we've cleaned it up, we've got then the door prepped for the new wing mirror to go on. Welcome back. So we've had a delivery, and in here is our new aftermarket wing mirror. So we're going to unbox it and unpackage it and then get it on the motorhome so that you can see how easy it is to replace this mirror. So in we go. And a well-known courier company has delivered this safely today. So, one passenger side wing mirror. So rather than waste time trying to get that out through there, which is going to be a bit of a pain, let's just, okay, do a quick visual on it. Mirror looks good. You've got your bolts ready to go. It's complete. You've got your mirror, you've got your blind spot, and most importantly, got the indicator, which was smashed off before, and we are now ready to fit on. So I haven't got Richard at this part of the video, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the barb section that we spoke about earlier in the video, just to be able to hook it on. But first I do this, so I have to feed the cabling in through the door. Now, you can just feed that in. It doesn't really matter where it goes, to be honest, because of the fact that you can access it from inside the door. Now, at this point, I need to be able to have the door shut for me to fit the mirror on. So, I've offered it up, I've put the cable in, and you want to make sure that you're not trapping anything. This little hook part here needs to go in, and so it comes out a tiny bit, hooks in, and then it should just push down. So even if I walk away from this now, it's not going to fall off because of the hook part. But once you've done all those bolts up, you can then see that it's going to look no different to a normal mirror. So we're going to jump round now to opening the door. Matt, come round the other side and we can start doing the bolts up. Now, if you don't have somebody to hold the mirror for you, then I would suggest that what you can do is do what I did beginning of the video and just use your hand on the outside of the door. So just line up the threads with the bolts, but don't do the bolts up too much because then you're going to need a little bit of adjustment as well. So let's put the second one in here. Again, just let the bolt do the work. Don't over tighten it because you could easily cross thread at this point and that's not going to do you any favors. So we're just going to put those in there, hand tight. Just as we pull the other three in a little bit tighter. And then we've got our special one that shouldn't be on there. That's been replaced when somebody has already previously knocked it off. So I'm just going to do that up hand tight like so. And just tighten that up. Right, we're back. So I've just done all 4 bolts up, but one thing I will say to you is this is only metal on plastic, even though you've got the thread. So when you're tightening it up, go hand tight and a tiny bit more. Don't overdo it because all you're going to do is just put pressure on that wing mirror and possibly do some damage. So all 3 are done up, just a little tiny tweak like so. Then we've got the main cabling. So this might take a couple of minutes, and again, rather than you sit there and go, why is he faffing about? Well, what I'm going to do is I'll struggle on. You'll see the video sort of sped up a little bit so that we can get this fed through into this hole, but it does involve a few careful minutes of you being nimble fingered and a head torch. Right, so what I've done there is I've fed the cable through, and using a head torch you can just see up into the top of the cavity and there's a hole in through the bodywork. The other thing you can do is if you've got a Phillips handy is you could just undo the 3 Phillips screws, just remove the speaker. You don't need to unplug it, which will give you a bit more access. If you're not very nimble fingered, or if you're just not very good with stuff like that, or say you've got massive hands, then you could put your hand in through the speaker hole and feed it back through into the area that comes in through here. So now the next bit is, again, you can't see any of this, it's all through me talking, But attached to the door on a little popper is the female socket for the cable to go back in. So what I'm going to do now is just grab that with my thumb and forefinger and just push that home. Just heard a little click there. That means now that the wing mirror electrics are plugged back into here. So fitting the speaker grille in back as we took it off. So same principle, just make sure that you haven't bent any of the clips, because otherwise you're just going to cause problems. You can offer it up like so. Just make sure your lines are clean. Bit of plastic there. Right, so now you're at the point of refitting this. We've done our 4 bolts up. We've plugged it in, we've put our speaker bracket back on, and this is the bit here that you have to be quite careful with. So it goes in from the left-hand side first. What I normally do is, again, you can wear a head torch, but if Matt can come around this side, what we try and do is we will just get these into position down here, and these little lugs will then slide in. If you slide those in carefully, you'll find that they should just clip into place. Obviously, whenever we're filming, it doesn't always happen the way you want it to, because that would be far too easy. There we go. Now, once you've got the 3 clips into place like that, the rest of it falls in. So you've got a clip at the top and a clip here. You can just hold those there, and before you push home on these 2, just line up your 2 popper clips. So I've got my hand now on the 4 clips. So we're going to push, 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 and push. That's it. So panel's back on. I'm not sure what was here before, something, but you have just, if we now shut the door, we've just replaced the passenger wing mirror. There's no reason why the electrics won't work, but we'll do a final test before the van goes out. And this is just a quick video showing that you can do this yourself, or you go to a specialist and they take all the risk, because you've got a brand new mirror on there. It's a massive saving compared to genuine Fiat parts, but that's the reason why they're so expensive. I'm sure lots of these get knocked off whether you're UK driving or on the continent. The main thing is these are not cheap. So we've now got a new indicator, new blind spot, main mirror, and all electrically adjustable. So if you want any more how-to videos, then please get in touch with us. Leave your comments below. This is what we like doing. We get motorhomes in on a daily basis, weekly basis, and we're happy to do how-to videos if we can. You obviously do need a level of competence and confidence to do this kind of thing, because these vans are not cheap. But if in doubt and you want to come to us, we're obviously based in Dorset, and we can do loads of stuff. You can get your van booked in and we can do it for you. So the website is www.motorhomeretrofits.co.uk. Don't forget to follow us on socials, Facebook and Instagram, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and thanks for watching.